The Witcher 3 got a graphical update, and I still hadn't played this game yet, so I thought now was a good time. I originally stayed away from the game because I saw the gameplay and it looked clunky and the combat wasn't that interesting, and after playing the entire base game now, I can tell you, I was right. The control of your character is just not the most responsive. However, I found out why, despite this, everyone was hyping The Witcher up as one of the best games. First of all, it's an RPG based on the Witcher book series, which already has a set story and events. You would think that it limits your choices because everything is already predetermined, but how it works is you play as Geralt of Rivia, and you are given the choice to do things Geralt might potentially do. So I tried to play through The Witcher being as morally just as possible, making the right choices, and doing what is best for everyone.
Geralt, there are two types of men. Those who see opportunity and take advantage, and those who forge the opportunities themselves.
Well, there you go. But that proved to be a lot more difficult than I thought. You see, as a Witcher, you focus on killing monsters that are causing a problem for the people, and get paid for it. And you most certainly do not get involved in politics or interpersonal conflicts, unless people make bad choices and get in your way. It's definitely not that black and white. When a person gives you a bounty, they'll say a monster killed someone, but in the process of finding the monster, you discover it was actually a human, and now that you found the killer, they don't want that information to be released, so they want you dead. And of course, self-defense is justified killing, right? Or maybe you find a werewolf on your hunt, but by the nature of werewolves, they only hurt people while they're transformed, which is during a full moon, and the rest of the time, they're humans. So what if before it's a full moon, the werewolf in their human state isolates himself away from civilization, and when they wake up with their clothes torn, they'll know that the transformation is over and can return back to their family. It gets more complicated than that because you can never know the full consequences of your actions. You can't convince everyone to go with your idealistic plan, and mistakes are made from all sides that eventually botch things up one way or another. The right choice isn't clear, and sometimes you will get a result you did not intend to get. The game really explores regret, because you're never sure if you picked the best option since there are trade-offs to everything. If you let others do what they want, they sometimes use you to create plagues and war machines, but if you step in and say no to the potentially evil outcome, you don't build connections to empower yourself to actually make a difference for good. If you save someone's life, you might kill 5 others to do so. Every quest in this game is like the trolley problem, weighing the potential outcomes and their trade-offs. Many people would probably play through this game reloading their save files to see all the outcomes. But as a moral person, I have to accept the consequences of my actions, because time travel has many more complications with timelines, the uncertainty of whether my decisions end up creating better outcomes, and the butterfly effect, which I don't even want to get into. At first, the game was overwhelming, understanding all the systems and getting bombarded with quests, but most of that stuff is optional. After a while, you learn to stop taking quests or you'll be stuck doing them forever. I said I didn't like the combat, but it is pretty cool how you need to understand each enemy you face and counter them with a specific magic type or attack cadence. For example, Alguls will have spikes that you need to retract by calming them with one of your magic signs, and ghosts need to be grounded with your magic trap so that you can hit them. The combat is reactive with dodging and parries, but it really isn't that engaging. But what is engaging is the card game within the game. Gwent is the collectible card game in the Witcher world. It's based on the strategy of card synergy, but also resource management. Because each match is a best of 3 rounds, if you invest too many of your good cards into one round, you'll lose the other 2. So conservation, planning, understanding risks, and baiting your opponent to overinvest are all necessary to getting a bigger board than your opponent in at least 2 rounds. I started out with terrible cards and I struggled to beat the merchants on the side of the road at first. But the more you travel and win cards from each person who will play you, the better your deck gets. I'm supposed to be looking for Ciri or something, but to be honest, my real goal was to beat the Baron of Vallun in Gwent. But he has way better cards than me, so I need to keep fighting innkeepers and merchants to build my deck to beat the Baron. He is, like many characters in this game, very well written with strengths, flaws, individual motivations, and relatable dialogue. So in the meantime, we need to help the Baron find his missing wife and daughter. Most quests in this game have a similar flow to them. It's not all there is, like there are some puzzles and some horse races, but these are the main gameplay loops you'll experience. You use your Witcher senses to follow a trail of blood, a scent, some tracks, or to find a clue that will lead you to the thing you're looking for. The second is you talk to a person to give more information, and depending on the dialogue options you choose, you can create a violent situation or you can avoid that. And then you get information to follow to the next part of the quest. Often you'll be following many leads and doing several different tasks just to find one person, and the game is fully aware of this.
So you must find Dudu in order to find Dandelion, with the aim of ultimately finding Ciri? Sounds like an awful lot of searching.
So we find the Baron's wife in a swamp with some nasty crones, and we get the Baron to bring his army, but his wife's been turned into a hag and we need to lift the curse by choosing some voodoo dolls, and I don't know which one it is. I mean, I know I'm a Witcher, so I should probably know what I'm doing here. So I'm just gonna pick this one.
It's Anna! What have you done?
Okay, maybe that wasn't the best outcome, but can you really blame me for this? I didn't know what would happen. I guess nothing I could say would make this situation better, so let me just leave for now. Yeah, I'll head back to see what the Baron wants. Wait, he's dead? Did he just kill himself so he doesn't have to face me in Gwent, and now I'll never be able to beat him? He will always have his Gwent victory over me? Well, at least I know where to go next to find Ciri. She has some royal bloodline that the Wild Hunt are trying to gain control of, so I gotta head to Novigrad. It's easy to get lost in this big city because there are so many things to do, and the contrast between the wide open areas of Vallun and the streets of Novigrad is a nice change of pace. I do have to say that the best thing about this game is the immersion. You may not be engaged in the combat, but the environments, characters, and constant decision making kept me invested. There are definitely some mundane moments, but there's also a Gwent tournament, which provided me with the gameplay that I wanted. Then I went on to write and perform a play, which led to some interesting exchanges of words.
Geralt, wait. A rhyme for Witcher?
Ditcher.
Did Itcher?
Just keep quiet.
And believe me, I'm not only a morally just, intelligent Gwent player, I'm also attractive to all the ladies. But this is a moral playthrough, so I can't pull the old Witcher and Ditcher on everyone who wants to dual wield my swords. I'm gonna stay true to Yennefer, who has some morally questionable decisions, but that's really the theme of all the conclusions. Do the ends justify the means? Well, by helping Cerys to become the Queen of Skellige, eventually it incited a civil war because Skellige was not progressive enough to accept her as their queen. So Madman Lugos went even more mad and we had to take him out. I don't think I could have known this would happen. And that is one less Gwent player in the world, unfortunately.
Yeah! That's why.
But we can't waste any more time. We need to save Ciri from the Wild Hunt, so we gather up all the mages we can and defeat their commander. But the frost won't stop unless Ciri time travels. And I'm gonna be honest, the time travel and portals didn't do it for me. They just seem like convenient plot devices at the cost of the immersion. So Ciri dies and I get the sad ending? Also, the mages continue to get persecuted because Nilfgaard loses the war. I really just got the worst endings after trying to do what was right. Okay, maybe not always. Maybe I should have paid more attention instead of just challenging everyone to a game of cards. Regardless of my choices, I got immersed in The Witcher through the great soundtrack, the compelling characters, and the meaningful choices. But the time travel plot and the combat weren't the best, so if I had to rank it on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd give it an 8.5. It's such a great game with tons of content, and I haven't even played the expansions yet. But if you do enjoy this content, then remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time.